Welcome to Heal into Happy. I invite you to take an adventure with me into your very own universe as I guide you to go within, release your fears, and become empowered to create a life you love. I am your host, Lark Allen. My intention is to help you shine a light on everything that is keeping you from being truly free. You can expect this healing journey to be filled with love, laughter, clarity, and fun. Are you ready to take a leap of faith? Let's go. Welcome to all of our listeners and to Peter, Angelo. I am so excited to have you on, Peter. Welcome.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for the honor of being a part of your light-bringing podcast, and I can't wait to see where it brings us today.
Yeah. So before we get started, I want to introduce Peter to all of you. So let's get to know him a little bit. Some of our Heal into Happy listeners might already be familiar with the term twin flame souls, or maybe you have heard of the term the 144,000 being referenced. Well, it just so happens that my soul brother, Peter Angelo, happens to be one. After a recent soul awakening, he discovered that he is a healer here to help the divine masculine and divine feminine energies be realigned into their proper harmonic balance. He walks this earth bearing only the peaceful weapon of light and strives each day to shed his ego. And always at his spiritual side is his beautiful other half, whose name was Janine in her most recent incarnation here on the earth plane. Pete says he is here now to hand out red pills like Morpheus in the Matrix, simply by asking. He feels that all you need to do is to decide of your own free will if your soul is ready to reawaken to the true reality of the light that is within you. Or if you choose, you can take the blue pill again and remain immersed in another lifetime of subjugation and servitude as an unwitting slave to debt, suffering, and material want and need. He urges all of us to remember who we truly are, an eternal, infinite being of light and oneness consciousness, and to reclaim our sovereignty now. So powerful, Peter. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, and it's amazing how simple those things are to, attain, and yet how difficult our egos and our beliefs make those things so unattainable for us on a day-to-day basis. And as a collective soul, which we are, people see themselves, as individuals and islands. And trust me, we're all one soul, and there's only an illusion of space and distance between us, and we are all one soul. So, that's my intention, is to get people to realize that they're souls and they happen to be in a body.
Yes, so. I completely agree. And I just want to thank you for lovingly guiding me to the Joseph communications. I am in book 2 right now. And for all of our listeners, if you feel called, I think you will definitely feel called after you hear Peter more. But part of book 2 is all about us really feeling into our joy, really stepping into our power. And there's a beautiful part that I would love for you and I to do together with our listeners right now, so that as we are having this conversation, we can drop more fully into the present moment. So let's all start by doing something that Joseph recommends that we do all every day. Let's put 2 fingers on our wrist and find our pulse. And let's just call in more clarity and just really drop away from any egoic things that could be coming through right now, and just be really open and just call our soul all the way back home. And let's let our guides and angels surround us now and really feel into the love that God is always providing for us. It's always here. The stream is always available. It's up to us to allow it in. So now we are together, where 2 or more gather. God is there even more powerfully. So as you're listening to what Peter has to say, which every word he says is activating and so beautiful and so powerful, that you let a little bit more of your light shine and that you feel into everything that Peter has to say and take what resonates with you and what you're ready to receive in this now moment.
Absolutely. Can I interject with, I want to say this because I think a lot of people will relate to this. Since I was a little kid, I was raised into a Catholic faith. We have no choices when we're born. As you know, we're born and we're basically under the control and care of our parents or whoever influences us. And, so you're given your name, you're given your identity, you're given a religion, all of this stuff. And so I was indoctrinated into the Catholic faith. So I came to reject the notion of God because I associated it with the religion that instills guilt and order and restriction on us. And I came to realize at a fairly young age that we're sovereign souls. We're here to live our lives and, of course, do no harm unto ourselves or to anyone else, but to live any way that we choose to live and dress the way we want and think the way we want and create the way we want and love the way we want. And that's why I rejected the notion of God, because I associated it with religion. And Joseph, one of the first things that led me to realize that I found my truth in Joseph's words were when he said religion is nonsense. It's man-made. It's man-created. It's a control device. And I knew that since I was young. And now I disassociated God with religion and realized that God is the universe. God is light. God is love. And God is not definable by any dogma or words or rituals, and that he's within us always. He, she, it, is within us. Then I was able to embrace God again as everything and as the core of myself. And also, when you spoke about ego before, I know that in the future, people will come to this and they'll listen to this and they will try to infuse it with their belief system and their ego. There will be ridicule. There'll be mockery of me. There'll be, questions. There'll be doubts. There'll be matrix beliefs, field beliefs of how preposterous this might sound to certain people. And they're simply not ready. And it doesn't change what the light is. It doesn't change who I am, who you are, or anything else. It simply means that in free will, those people are not ready to embrace what they truly are. They see themselves as 3D humans with very limited scope, limited capabilities, limited beliefs, and they see themselves as a physical being, and they are truly not. They are light energy, they're oneness consciousness, they're infinite, and they're connected to everyone and everything when they are not under the veil and the beliefs of this 3D limited world.
Yes, I feel like everyone that is tuning in to Heal into Happy already has a beautiful foundation and is excited to explore all of these topics. So, yeah.
Yes, I believe that too. But I plan in the future, of course, to tell people about your podcast. And I know from my own personal experience that certain members of my social circle, even family members, beloved family members, friends, will not embrace this openly, even though they might be curious to listen to whatever it is we have to say here. It's still planting a seed. And that's really the most important thing. And again, my ego is out of it. So whatever it is people think or feel about me, whatever their opinion is about me, is none of my business. My business is to get them to remembering what they truly are. And they are beings of eternal and infinite light. It's really that simple. And once you see yourself as that, and you realize that that essence that you are is just injected into a temporary physical avatar here in this great big video game we're playing here, then, you're still asleep, basically. You're not in tune with who and what you truly are. And that's fine. Every soul has his own rate, his or her own rate of ascending and awakening, and they do it in their own manner and fashion as well. And we're not to judge them. We're not to coerce them. We're not to force them. When they are ready to open their heart and accept what they are, that's their time. And thank goodness we already found our time in this here and now in this life.
Yes, and we're always available to help everyone walk, like I see us on a path
Always.
and we have the light and we feel comfortable on this path that has been less traveled or not traveled at all, and we're here with an outstretched hand always to help walk everyone home to this knowing. So,
Absolutely. I've gotten things such as typical, there's the head mind, which calculates and which creates and thinks for our ego. And there's the heart mind, which is in tune with everything. The beat of our heart echoes the beat of the universe. It is a direct correlation to that. And when people are reacting from their head mind, they will ask questions about scientific proof, earthly proof, like how can you prove or how do you know what you know? And I tell them whatever we know cannot be quantified in human 3D terms. It has to be done from within. And if you're not willing to do the work and go within, you will not get those answers. I cannot give you those answers because they do not quantify in any spoken language or any scientific term of this world. And it's soul science, not human science. And it's plain and simple. And I get looks like, when you teach a dog a new word and they tilt their head, like I get that kind of look from people, and that's fine. Again, like I'm not here to have conflicts of ego with people, and I'm not here to convince them of anything. When it's ready to find you, it will find you and you will find it, your answers. It's really that simple.
Yeah. And this is a lifetime about remembering all of the things. And when we choose to be curious and open, then that seed of awareness, which is part of God consciousness, starts to awaken within us. And
Absolutely.
and then it's just a remembrance in every now moment. And we're led to new things and we have new friends that magnetize to us. And that's exactly what happened with us with Charlene
Yes.
and Brandon. And,
So
I feel
many
like,
others. Yes.
yeah, our soul tribe is growing. And, as our conscious
it's already
rises,
here.
yeah.
The soul tribe is already here. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of us connecting. And I had an interesting analogy. When I'm with my hands or my body in water, a lot of things come to me. It's like an attunement tool. And I was in the shower earlier and I pictured like when you do Christmas lights and you take like a big strand of lights and they have that plug on the very end of them. They have like the outlet plug to put in the wall to power them up. And then they have the attachment plug where you can take another string of lights and put them into that end and just continue the string. And that's what we're doing now. We're just stringing one set of lights to another set of lights to another set of lights. And it's magnetic and it's irresistible. It's inevitable, whatever word you want to use. But the light finds the light, finds the light. It simply is. There's no way to quantify how it happens. But when you get past the illusions of time and space and distance between us, we're all right here, right now. There is no here. We are everywhere and nowhere at once because we're energy. How do you contain energy? How do you define the location of energy? How do you define a proximity of light? It's indefinable. So we're everywhere at once. It's inevitable that we will attach to another point of light. And they just from all over the globe, points of light are attaching to us. I have friends that live in Australia. I have friends that live in Europe. I have friends that live in every continent almost on the world, and certainly every point of this particular country that we call a nation here that we live in. But again, I don't see geography. I don't see boundaries. I don't see any of those man-made imaginary things. I see us all in one giant ball of light at the same time.
Yes.
Mm.
I love that. That's a beautiful visualization to have. And meditation is just seeing the strands increasing more and more and more.
Yes, connecting one end to another to another. Yes, absolutely. That's how we were formed, technically. Like all our angelic parents were formed like a strand of rope, and the rope just unfurled and kept unfurling and just creating outwardly from the thought, from the is saying, this is my intention, to expand and to become more than I am now and create all these little sentinels and points of light. And they will create their own sentinels and points of light. And that's how it goes. Our angelic parents sparked us, and they were sparked from the original and God. So we're all children and grandchildren of theirs, as little points of light and sentinels and mirrors. We're all mirrors for each other too. We all reflect what we are and what we're not to each other. So each of us knows what we are and what we are not in the physical realities.
Yes, that's so beautiful. And it's so
Yeah.
comforting to know that we're never alone. And
Never.
yeah.
Never. Alone is just a belief. Again, like you can be sitting alone in a room for hours at a time, and trust me, you are never alone. As soon as you use the word open before, and that's 100% the word. Once you are open to allowing what you know in your soul, but what you've forgotten through many, many reincarnations, many times of being in this world or dying off to a world that nests this world and not expanding and just intending to come back here time after time, you forget more and more about your soul heritage and about your birthright and what you are. And trust me when I tell you, the souls are like standing over a rail. If you can imagine like a giant stadium with these guardrails, and the souls are like leaning over in anticipation, waiting for you to open up to allow them to show you all of these signs and all of this synchronicity and all of the things that your soul has forgotten. They're like jumping for joy when it happens. When you perceive a sign from them or a signal from them, or a number resonates with you, or a song resonates with you, or something, they jump for joy and they're like, oh, we got them. Now we can talk to them. Now we can help them. Now we can help them to remember who they are. And they're opening to it now. Now we'll be able to like inject little signs through that veil of belief and that barrier that we've created here, where we think we're detached from the rest of the oneness of all things. We're never detached from it. Okay. We detached ourselves from it via belief and via solidification and layering of that belief. And now we're working to remember, just like you said, that word, remember. And that's the key to opening up your heart for it.
Yes. So in this remembering and through this season of my podcast, I am exploring heaven on earth and how to anchor that in more fully in every now moment together, and pivoting away from what's being presented to us that is full of fear and death and dismay, which is the matrix that you are helping everyone wake up to, realizing that we've been a part of, and co-creating something new. So I would love to explore these 3 questions with you and get your download about them. So the first question is, tell me a time that you experienced heaven on earth.
Oh boy. To be honest with you, a different version of it happens quite often. The real time that I experienced heaven on earth that I could first remember was shortly after I met my other half, my twin flame, Janine. We had what I call Butterfly Day, August 23rd, 2003. It was a Saturday. We met over a butterfly that I found in the street outside our house in Bayside, Queens, that simply doesn't exist in this region of the country. And there it was in the street. It's a long story. I will be writing about it one day, but to make it short, we met over that butterfly. I was visited by my soul guides that day. I was told very specifically an inner voice, that sounds just like your voice coming through now, but inside me telling me to talk to her, telling me not to leave until I spoke to her. We were most definitely guided to each other that day, as we were meant to be. And that was experiencing heaven on earth, because the oneness and the connection and the intuitiveness that we experienced between each other was like almost instant. It was all encompassing, and it was unconditional. It was what I call like 5D love here in 3D. And I realize now that most people, unfortunately, never get to experience or even sniff that kind of love here on earth. They live terribly isolated lives. They build up walls, and they block themselves from ever finding their other half. If their other half is here incarnate with them in this lifetime, they block it. And that was heaven on earth. Every time I play with my cats, as as silly as that might sound to people. Like, my cats are pure joy. They're pure love. They purr every time I come near them. They want to play. They want to headbutt me. They want to sit with me. They actually like fight with each other over attention from me. And I just see them like they're totally activated. They stare off into a corner. So I know that there are souls here that they can very clearly perceive that are beyond our sight, but not beyond our senses. If we really tune in, they easily see them and sense them. And that's heaven on earth for me. Grounding myself, walking out in nature, walking on a beach, walking in a forest, talking to things. Everything is alive, whether we believe it or not. Everything has a resonance and an energy. And all the animal forms, the trees, everything are alive, and you can talk to them. They have a soul, so to speak, that resonates, not in the way that we do as human souls or even animal souls, but all the things we consider to be, lesser life forms or inanimate life forms, they all have an energy and a creative background to them. They don't just happen or occur, and they don't just sit there. They exist just the same way we do, and they actually thrive in higher energy than we do. So those things are heaven on earth for me.
Beautiful. Yeah, your love story and the book that you're going to create about it is definitely a huge part of anchoring in heaven and on earth. And,
Yes.
to give everyone faith and belief. So many people need
Yes.
concrete
They
evidence.
need hope. Yes,
Yeah.
They need hope. Actually, I'm still in the habit of using the word belief a lot, but it's just a habit. I really want to take people away from that word as the days and the months and the years go, because belief is something that you have in your head, via your calculator, so to speak, via your ego. Beliefs constantly need to be reinforced. When you simply know, and it's in your heart. And those are the things we can't explain or define. Beliefs are things that are passed down to us from others. They're sometimes old or dead ideas, like religion, politics, the societal box that we're all squeezed into from the time we're born. Those are beliefs, and those need to be shed. Also, the belief that we need to toil and to work and to grind every day and make money in order to be successful in this life and to thrive. Those are just fear-based beliefs. And, trust me, when you go within and you see only abundance, you know that everything is going to be fine, and you require less, you need less, and you want for less, and you have more. Once I discovered how to manifest abundance, I have not longed for anything. And my life has been so much more peaceful and less stressful. And I control myself now. I'm sovereign again. I am not subject to the powers that be and all the freedoms that we think we have that they take away from us so easily when it befits them to do so, when they profit from it, when they gain power and control from doing so. I'm not subjected to that. I have no fear of my own physical death. I cannot be controlled in that way either. So I am a free and sovereign soul now, and I'm very grateful for that. That, I realize I see my ending in this world. I don't know exactly when it might occur, but I know it's going to occur. And I also know that it's not going to occur 1 minute before its scheduled time, before its prearranged time. So I have no fear. I know I'm going. So I just live my life as if I'm going to be 100. And I live each day as if it's going to be my last. And I do both of those things fearlessly without any second thoughts.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like that's a huge part of the programming to just release and to put on the table. It's like humanity doesn't even want to acknowledge that we do end up leaving this earth, because I feel like so many people haven't awakened to the spiritual essence of who we are, that we are spirits enjoying a human experience, to have all of the tactile experiences and everything. And so when we let go of the fear of death and just let this be a joyride that God intended it to be, then I think, instantly everything shifts. There's just so much fear pumping out about us dying of this or dying of that.
That's true.
If we just say, if we just say, no, I'm not subscribing to that, I have faith in God and that I'm here to have fun and live in joy, then,
That's right.
the whole paradigm shifts immediately.
Exactly. I mean, that's really it. It's a choice. And you just said the word. We all have free will, and we all create our personal reality around us minute by minute with our thoughts and our choices. The God power that's within you is in the power of your beliefs to create your reality around you. If you believe in something strongly enough, you will create that reality. That's why you have to be very careful with your thoughts. And the universe doesn't understand specificity, it understands your vibration. So if you're constantly vibrating out fear, the universe thinks that you enjoy fear, that you crave fear, that you want to live in a state of fear. It doesn't understand that you abhor fear, that you don't want fear. It just senses the fear in you and thinks this is what you're trying to manifest around you. And so it gives you something to be afraid of. Okay. So, and also there's a long-standing reason why so many people are like so fully invested in this place as the true reality. And I can assure you, this is not the true reality. This is a simulated reality, no different than any other dreamscape you visit while your body sleeps. We dream all of these realities into existence, and we dreamt this one. We just solidified it and made it very layered and very heavy. But it is not the true reality. And because so many souls have reincarnated back to here so many times, time and time again, one after the other, they do not understand or remember what their true heritage is and the fact that there's a multiverse beyond this world if they choose to leave this one behind and ascend into higher realms of existence, more rarefied and beautiful realms where there is only bliss and happiness. Okay, but they're afraid of that because this is like the devil they know, so to speak, and it's become familiar with them. So they almost immediately, when they get back home to the other side after a lifetime is over, their thought is to come back here and try and like do whatever they didn't do well again. Like if they didn't have a good marriage, they want to come back here and get it right, or they want to become more of a material earner or successful in that, or be a better parent, or etc. And all they're doing is just bringing back a lot of the same karma from the previous life, because even though the avatar might change and the location might change, and of course the era of time that you're in changes when you reincarnate, you still bring that programming back with you from the previous lives. So all you're doing essentially is like a wash, rinse, repeat. Again, you're in a different body, a different country, a different time of linear time, but you're repeating that same programming. So in one life, you might be starving for food. And in another life, you come back and you starve for love or attention. But the starving is part of the karmic programming that you can't shed when you come back here. So this is why Joseph and the group urges people to think very seriously about not returning here for another go in physicality, but to think about ascending to realms that maybe they've temporarily forgotten, but they will easily remember them once they open themselves to them and embrace going into higher and more rarefied places of illusionary existence, because it's all an illusion. It's not reality, none of it. The only state of true reality that we are is the light. And we aren't anything. We are no thing, but yet we're everything because we create all the physical things we see around us with our beliefs and our thoughts, our strength in our belief. So,
Well, that's a perfect segue into question 2, because I feel like
good.
that would be part of your answer. So, okay, question number 2. Here's a magic wand, and with this magic wand, you can create heaven on earth. What is heaven on earth for you?
Heaven on earth would be everyone realizing that we are all connected on a soul level, that we're all one collective soul, no matter the illusion of separation, the outward physical differences that we seem to have, the geographical illusions of countries and flags and governments and borders. We are all one soul, and we're all here to take care of each other and to love each other, not to survive at the expense of others and or to harm anything in order for us to personally survive. We were not sparked into creation to be in survival mode. we were sparked into creation as one collective soul of love. And that's what I would do. I would wave my wand if I could and have everybody instantly remember they can do this by free will choice. But again, ego and fear prevents them from doing that. And we just have to wait until they're ready. But that's what I would do with my magic wand. I would make everybody remember what they are and why they were created.
I love that so much. And yeah, I feel like all of us just awakening to that and just feeling God's love and bliss and just coming home to her arms and
The oneness of all things.
yeah, that's a beautiful use of your magic wand power. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Question number 3, what simple, easy, concrete step will you take in the next 24 hours to make heaven on earth real?
Well, that's a good question. A lot of people, and these are, when I say a lot of people, I'm referring to people that are very in tune with their spiritual self, people that try to do a lot of good, a lot of light work. They are still, unfortunately, at this time under the belief that certain forms of conflict here, however, a peaceful type of conflict it might be, they think that that's going to change things, like a political upheaval or a revolution or protestation, a boycotting, things of like a material and physical nature. And I tell you, as sure as I'm standing here, that will never work. It's been tried and tried and tried in many different eras of mankind, many different incarnations of mankind. You cannot fight darkness with anything else but the light. You cannot return anger with anger. You cannot return oppression with violence. You cannot return any type of resentment or conflict, anger over the human condition, anger over someone being murdered, anything like that. You cannot return that with anything but light. So the best way is to trust in the light and send it out to all points, all dark corners of this world in your meditations, and trust that it will reach whatever target you send it to. And if enough people do that, if enough people go within and send their light out to every situation that they see as a dark situation, trust me when I tell you, it will change things. But people have to know that and trust in that and stop relying on physical means, of 3D means, of outward means. Only from within can things change outside of us. It's really that simple. That's what I would do. That's what I would always gently suggest. You can't coerce anybody or force anybody to sit in silence and in quiet and turn off their TV and turn off their phone and go within and just be in tune with the beat of their heart and the oneness of everything, even for a second a day. But that's what I urge people to do, and that will change things. And only ego and belief will have someone listen to what I just said and say, you're an idiot. You're wrong. We have to go out there and with, stakes and fire sticks and, like chasing down Frankenstein's monster. And we have to change things that way. That's how it has to be. And I tell you, it's not going to do anything. All it's going to do is incite the darkness and strengthen it and magnetize more of that same lower vibration to itself. That's all it will ever do. And many, many people have come here over the eons. Of course, Jesus came here to Christ the world. There have been people that would, in human stature, appear to be less than him, but they came here with that very same intention to Christ the world. And they fell into, 3D things like fame and power and money, entertainment business, whatever, even religion, like Martin Luther King. But Martin Luther King came here with the same intention as Jesus, to change things, to make people understand that love is the only way. Light is the only way to change these things around us. Every other thing is conditional. People don't really want peace as long as peace has a condition attached to it. If the concept of peace is based on another group of people making concessions and being suppressed and being oppressed and being denied certain things that others have, how is that peace? It's conditional peace. Peace has to be unconditional. We have to accept that we're all one soul and that the illusions of geography and nations and flags And separation and division are all illusions designed to control us and keep us, down, keep us oppressed, keep us powerless and away from our sovereignty. And once people realize this, that is how we will have true peace and bliss on earth.
Yeah, I remember when I was listening to the Joseph communications and that being like in the book as something so important to do. And at first I had some resistance around that. But then when I sat with the idea of all of the people that are in charge of politics or the people that I felt like a resistance to offering them love and light, I really started thinking about them as a little child because we all have a sacred inner child within us. And somewhere along the way, these people were searching for love, searching for recognition, and they ended up getting in a really dark space. And they're stuck there and they can't find the light. And so when we can look at them and offer them love, looking at them as we're visualizing this light that we're giving them as a small child lost in the dark and offering them love from that space and surrounding them with the light for their souls to be able to come back home.
Absolutely. Yeah. Isn't that in essence what Jesus tried to teach us, that you have to love your enemies even more than the ones that are close to you because they need it the most. They're the most lost. And right away, our reaction when someone transgresses upon us, when someone oppresses us, when somebody harms us, when somebody does harm to someone we love, is revenge, retribution. And all we're doing is intensifying the darkness of the initial act by following it up with a dark act. And it's not going to change anything. It's just going to create a continual cycle of anger and hate and fear and retribution and violence. And it all has to end. But we all have to choose to end this. And it's only our egos that stop us. Like when you said, you took a while to come to it, to come to that point. It was your ego resisting. It was my ego resisting. What do you mean turn the other cheek when somebody smacks you across the chops? You have to, though, because that person is lost in anger. And what's the worst that's going to happen? All right, maybe they end your time here. Maybe, they dispatch you to the other side. And that's fine. When you get to the other side, you'll realize that it was all a karmic experience that you chose to endure. But ultimately, none of us is staying here, okay? Regardless of how we're removed from this reality, none of us is staying here. So the fact that people are building like survival shelters and storing guns and aligning themselves with political groups and religious groups and living in constant fear and survival mode is not going to change the time that they are dispatched from this world. Some of us are going to leave here tomorrow. Some of us are going to leave here in 50 years. And many of us are going to leave in the duration of time between those points. But we're all going. So why not just be here in love and oneness and take care of each other and stop living in fear and conflict of everyone and everything that is not like you? What is this entitlement? What is this ego? What is this fear? What is this belief that you deserve and others don't? Or that it's okay to do harm to any other creature so that you can survive, so that you can eat, so that you can thrive, while others live in dirt, while others starve, while others are butchered for our food. What is that? It's insanity, right? But it's totally fear-based and it's all belief-based. And once people get out of that fear and belief state and get into a love and knowing state, that's when everything will change. And it's all free will. It's all free will. It's up to each individual to decide. But as the more of us ascend and awaken, those who are at that next level below us that are close to ready will awaken. And then they'll awaken people below their step. It's just as above, so below, and you just have to see it happening in your meditations and send light into that.
Today's podcast ended up just us recording it. It hasn't even been launched out to the public yet, but it is being launched into our organic collective consciousness.
Absolutely.
And it's already causing a ripple effect. And, people are all going about their day, feeling more loved, feeling more connected, feeling more peace, feeling less fear of death. it's going out into the souls, immediately. And I
Well,
love that.
remember that stadium? Remember that stadium I talked about before, where all the souls are like leaning over the rails in anticipation and waiting for us to like catch that glimpse of life? That's happening right now. It's like, hey,
Yes,
yay. And
I hear the
and
cheering.
absolutely. And also, to start frying a couple of noodles here, for people that, are still based in like linear timing, can't get past the concept of this 3D world. Like everything is happening in the eternal now on the other side. So this podcast already took place. And, there's a million probabilities that can happen based on our choices and our decisions moment by moment. But we chose to bring this podcast in from the other side. It already happened. Okay. The souls know it already happened. Just like my book has already been written. We just have to manifest it here in 3D. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool stuff, right? The eternal now.
Eternal now.
There is no time on the other side. Everything is here and now.
So after this podcast launches out into the physical, the next podcast that will be coming is you, me, Brandon, and Charlene all coming together to do a roundtable. So I'm really excited for that to happen.
Yes. Well, again, the souls are already showing it to us on the other side. We've already all visited that podcast in our dreamscapes, and in our other realities, and we're just going to make it happen here. It's that simple. And now the other souls are going to decide like which one is going to be a part of it, which one's going to tune in, which one's going to listen, which one of the listeners is going to take it into their heart and open their heart in free will and decide to be a 5D soul here in 3D human land. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to open up hearts here and let the lights come in.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Peter. It has been such a joy. I know that you have already created lots of spontaneous awakening just from all of your encoded and activating words that you have spoken here. So thank you so much. I know that all of my listeners are really having another awakening from tuning in today. And so everyone, Peter and I are offering everyone so much love and so much light. And come back to
nothing but
come back to Heal into Happy for the next time, where we are going to be having our very first Heal into Happy roundtable. This is going to be the first time where there's going to be multiple people coming on to offer more illumination and more love and more awareness. So I'm so excited to have that happen.
Can I name it? A name just piped in from the other side to me, like as you were talking. The lights of the round table.
Ooh, the lights of the round table. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And oh my gosh, one of the visualizations that I have for the new earth that we're creating is everything being done in a round table from this point forward, because one person in power is not working out for us. So everything being done in a round table. And so I love that we're bringing it to the podcast and then we're putting it out into the collective. How good it feels for all parts of society from this point forward to be conducted in a roundtable manner. And, that's where we just have more purity, more love. Mm-hmm.
There is no beginning or end to what we are. We have no beginning and no end as the souls that we truly are, as the points of light we are. So it is very appropriate that you chose our little forum to be a round table, because a circle has no beginning and no end. Mm-hmm. And that is the symbol of the is of God, the dot within the circle. Everything emanates from the center and radiates out. So that's perfect. Perfect.
Wow.
And not a coincidence. Yep, not a coincidence.
Round table of light. I love it. Yep. All right, everyone. Well, everybody needs to come back and listen, because it's going to be epic. I can already feel it.
Yes, I don't think we'll have any problems attracting the rest of our soul tribe to this energy. Once I get it out there to my circle, our circle will grow.
Yes, and so it is. All right, until next time. thank you for joining me today on Heal into Happy. My prayer is that you have gained more insight into your healing journey and that you are one step closer to loving yourself more fully in this now moment. And if you could do me a favor, please leave me a 5-star review over on iTunes. My passion is empowering others on their healing journey, and with your review, you may help others struggling to heal find this message. Be sure to visit me at healintohappy.com for past episodes and more ways to connect with me. Also, please always remember that I am offering you so much love and light as I celebrate the divine sovereign being that I see in you.